Hey, welcome back. My name is Tiara, and in today's video, I'm going to be explaining how I stay inspired, a way to make your drawings more interesting, and why I started drawing, as well as some other things. Just as a side note, I'm not going to be explaining what I'm doing as much with this drawing, but I will pop in here and there to speak on it. So starting off with how I stay inspired, personally, there are things that I like to do outside of art to keep me inspired, and then there's things that I like to do that are within consuming art that keeps me inspired as well. Within art, I like to look at other artists' art. I find that it inspires me, but I always do that in moderation because looking at other people's art can kind of sometimes stunt you and make you possibly feel bad about yours, so do that in moderation. And also I like to read art books and just learn new techniques, learn new things, and I find that once I learn something new, it can kind of refresh me and make me want to draw some new things. As for what I do outside of art, really, these are just interests that you have outside of art that also make you happy. That way you don't have to rely on art as the only thing that brings you joy. And you'll have other things to fall back on if you're struggling with your art and you want to take a break from it. The things that I do are sometimes photography, going outside, hanging with friends, growing plants, watching anime, shows, YouTube, and that's usually what inspires me to keep going. But yeah, having those interests outside of art can really help you in the long run. I also want to mention that there are times when you need to take a complete break from art because art can be really time consuming, really taxing. You sit there and you're focusing for a long period of time. So sometimes taking a day or a week may not be enough. So just keep that in mind and make sure to take care of yourself and take breaks if you really need it. And try not to force yourself if you feel like things are not going your way. So now moving into a way to make your drawings a bit more interesting in terms of coming up with ideas and sketching things out. So that is to combine references. Let's say you find a reference that you want to use because you like the expression in it, the facial expression, but you like the hair from another reference, and then maybe the pose from another. So to make your drawing more interesting, you can pick and choose what you like from different pictures and implement those specific things into your drawing and mix and match in your own way, just to have something a little bit more interesting visually and that also looks more unique and doesn't look exactly like one picture that you used. So the way that I colored this sketch is just about the same that I did in my last video. There are a couple things that I did in different order, but it's overall the same technique. I really just added down some base colors and I'm kind of lightly shading around the face at the moment. But I definitely want to do another video on just how I draw different skin tones. And actually, as I was filming this video, I got a comment asking if I could do another video on skin tones. And yeah, I'm pretty much planning that. I feel like that will be pretty helpful, and I'm not sure when that will come out, but yeah, it will come out eventually. I also am getting a lot of comments about asking about what brushes I use. I use a sketch brush from Christy P. She's on Instagram, and also she has a Gumroad. So the brush that I use is called SB2, Sketch Brush 2, I believe it's abbreviated, and it's from a sketch brush pack. And yeah, that's the one that I like. And then also sometimes I'll switch between that and a sketch brush that I created myself. For coloring, I like to use a flat rectangular brush, and I use the same brush for shading and everything too. And then for blending things out and making things look smooth, I like to just use a medium default airbrush. The flat brush is also a default brush in the program. Now I kind of want to get into why I started drawing and just, I guess, why I find it interesting. So I'm one of those artists that started drawing when they were younger, and I've always had an appreciation for art. I just find that it's just interesting to me, and I think drawing is really just a good way of expressing yourself in another way, and it's something that is just really powerful in its own way. I originally stopped drawing, and then I had to come back to it because I missed being able to express myself in, I don't know, in such an artistic way. Drawing is really calming. You can just sit down, listen to music, chill, and just draw. Yeah, I find it really relaxing. And not only that, but more of an overarching thing why I started this channel about drawing is because, I mean, I've always wanted to be an artist. It hasn't gone away. And I also want to be able to help others in any way that I can, and also inspire others to keep drawing, or maybe even inspire non-artists to start drawing. Because art is really a nice creative outlet, and like I said, it's relaxing, but it also can be really challenging, which is why I was mentioning taking breaks and things like that. Oh, and I also want to say thank you for 300 plus subs. My last video, we had just reached 80, and I wrote it in the description of that last video. And now we're at 300 somehow, and honestly, that's insane. And I didn't think things would progress so quickly. So thank you so much. And I'm also hoping I can get access to the community tab so I can interact with everyone and send out polls or ask what kind of videos you guys want to see next, and yeah, things like that. So I'm hoping that comes in the future sometime soon. So at this point in the drawing, I'm adding in some finishing touches. You see, I just added some highlights to her eyes. Now I'm redoing the sketch on the nose. Some highlights to the skin. I'm darkening up the lips a little bit. And now I'm going ahead and outlining the shirt. And I end up going for a yellow color for the shirt. I just felt like it fit the drawing more. Now I'm adding some yellow in her eyes. What I really ended up liking about this drawing is the fact that I kind of stepped out my comfort zone. I usually don't use such bright colors. Usually I go for more of a muted look. And I ended up liking the result. Now I'm doing her earring. Adding highlights to the earring. Some shadows underneath the lip, on the side of the nose, underneath the chin, and on the side of the face. I did just say I liked the result, but I can't help but to notice there's some kind of distortion going on with like the eye spacing and like the way the nose is placed. But at the end of the day, it's okay. Nothing's gonna be perfect every single time, especially with art. But overall, I'd say I still like it. This is how the drawing turned out. But yeah, I hope you found this video interesting or helpful or even inspiring in some way. But yes, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.